It was in so many words to say that what followed, I acknowledged would not be anything I might introduce, but only what God brought forth. To say thanks beforehand is another way of breaking the isolation. And then once the isolation is broken, you ask for help. But you don't stop there. You don't ask for help and then go and fix dinner and leave it hanging. You've asked for help. The help is immediate, and so you listen for the help. Without coercion, without impatience, without being in a hurry. When you say in so many words, thy will be done, you're saying on your terms. And so you listen, expecting an answer. And you wait for the answer. Because that's where the completion is. That's where the actual end of isolation happens. When the connection occurs. Now, to be practical, Paul did this in the beginning for 2 weeks every night, and sometimes more than once a day. He had to take care of other things, and so when he didn't hear the answer, he didn't sit there like a monk for 24 hours a day. He took care of what needed to be taken care of, but he persisted, knowing that the completion of the process hadn't occurred. But the point is, you ask for help, and you listen, and you persist in listening for the answer, or for the evidence of the healing. And I believe I've answered the third part of your question. How do you best facilitate being able to hear? You simply persist in listening with the expectation of an answer.
Okay, I guess I was asking specifically, should I start writing again? Would that be clear, since I seem to have more personal disruption in not hearing or not feeling I'm hearing?
Of course.
Start writing again?
Sure, certainly.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll meet you on the keyboard.
Indeed,
Thank
I will
you.
look forward to it.
Thank you.
And you may even connect with me surprisingly at other times.
Certainly have tried, yes, and will try.
But bring your attention there. Bring your attention to me.
Okay.
If your help in terms of guidance was assigned to you the moment you acted independently, then you can count on it that the moment there's the slightest bit of interest expressed on your part, you're going to get a response. You might say, your guide has not waited all this time just to miss your call. it's reasonable to expect an answer.
Would it be safe to understand that I haven't heard the response of late? Could that be part of my
You said it very well. You haven't heard the response.
Right. I'm asking for confirmation because maybe that's what I'm
That is
feeling.
correct, yes.
Okay. I will listen more effectively.
Yes.
Thank you.
The response has been there. You simply haven't heard it.
Okay.
I haven't been busy.
Why? Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Hands? The gentleman back here.
Thank you. We speak of the one light and the one love of God, the oneness of those. Could you just say a little something about the nature of this light and love? Are they just aspects of God, the main aspects of God? What the nature of the light versus the nature of the love?
Versus the nature of the love?
No,
did you
not
say?
versus, well, and, or the relationship between them.
I would ask you to embellish or elaborate on your question if you can.
Sure. For instance, if there is the one light, is there then also the one love that is also present at that time, and vice versa?
It is more like a bar of gold has a certain density, a certain weight, a certain color, and none of those three things are separate from each other in actuality. So there is not something called light and something called love. Light and love are so closely aligned that they are almost indistinguishable. Love illuminates as well as light. And the substance of light is love. Love is the vitalizing or motivating, you might say love is the engine of movement. And it is the substance of all that you call form. When you are fully awake, what appear to you as mortal or material bodies will be experienced as bodies of light. And the substance of those bodies of light, or light forms, will obviously be love to you. Not from a visual standpoint, but from a heart standpoint. And you will find that the same thing is true of this plant or any object that you see. This is not something I am going to be able to go into in depth at this point, because Paul is not in an even enough place.
That's fine. That answers my question.
Okay. Thank you. Hands? Yes.
My question is about asking you to respond for me. I've done that in certain instances, and it had startling results.
I'm sorry, could you start over?
Yes. My question is about asking you to respond for me. And in my mind, what I'm doing is backing out and then hearing my voice say things to people. This has been about collection calls. And so what I've noticed is when I hang up, both the person I've talked to and I feel better. You know, maybe we don't get the money, but I'm not mean. So then there's this respond all the time, and that's what I would like you to do. So I think you've really kind of been telling me the answer. Part of my mind knows you don't want me to become some kind of puppet that doesn't... What? I want to get out of the way, but I don't...
But I do want you to become a puppet.
See, then I would do that. But
Let me explain. The phrase in the Lord's Prayer says, "Thy will be done." Well, if that doesn't mean becoming a puppet, I don't know what it means. If that doesn't mean deferring to God, if that doesn't mean yielding to God, I don't know what it means. And if you're yielding to God, then you are ceasing to be a point or source of authority, where through your will you cause something to happen. Such an idea is absolutely horrifying to the ego. In fact, most, upon hearing me say what I just said, would say, "Oh, you're carrying this too far. I mean, I love the Lord's Prayer, but to not exercise my own will ever, you go too far." But what isn't understood is that when you choose to act as though you have self-originated authority, you have disconnected yourself from the experience of God, and as I've said many times, have thereby caused the kingdom of heaven to look like the world, a polarized phenomenon, positive and negative, good, bad, constantly in a state of conflict with itself, and somehow finding reasonable balance so that it doesn't destroy itself. And so your experience is one of conflict and the surmounting of it. You're not going to find your wholeness. You're not going to find your peace. You're not going to find your utter safety until you're willing to yield to the Father's will constantly. But I will tell you something. As you begin little by little, as you do in the conversations where you ask me to join you and you let me speak, you will find that the result of doing that is not destructive but beneficial. It doesn't promote reaction but harmony. Even if you are asking for something that somebody objects to, you are a benign presence.
It's absolutely what I've discovered. Yeah.
So as you do this, you find validation, you might say, for the principle of saying and embodying the meaning of the words, "Thy will be done." There is improvement. That part of your life changed. And that can give you courage to do it more often in more circumstances. Very simply, you are not self-created. You didn't create yourself. You might say you found yourself existing.
Yeah.
Then if you're not the source of your existence, what is? Well, those who have sought after the answer to that question have in many different ways shared with others that the experience of communion with whatever the source is available. So you know what? Let's be real simple. If doing it all yourself has been a struggle, why not experiment with reaching out to God, expecting an answer, letting it register with you when it's provided, and see what the result is. And if the result is confirming and beneficial and harmonizing, then persist.
Well, considering that Robbie and I have both kind of been doing this kind of thing, and we're facing interesting months, believe me, it sounds very good to just let you handle it. You just can hardly wait. You do. Because I've just seen it. I used to think I was so good and so smart, and you know, I've run into so many walls. I just have had enough. And it sounds wonderful to let you respond to everything.
Now, when I respond, especially if I am responding to you, in other words, if you have asked me a question, and I am responding to you, if you can't understand what I'm saying, or you can't agree with what I'm saying, do not be blindly obedient.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I was wondering about the puppet thing. So I should just keep asking for clarity
That is correct.
instead of going away.
That is correct,
This
yes.
is what I do.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You see, you want to be a puppet, but not blindly. You want to be the expression of the Father's will, not yours.
Right.
But if you don't understand what being the expression of the Father's will is, then you must inquire further instead of just blindly, obediently acting.
Good. Okay.
You are the one learning how to be without engaging your will. And you are the one who will be learning what it is like to be you in that way. And that is how you will begin to have a new experience of what you are as a verb, as I said earlier. But if you don't ask questions, and you just blindly, obediently follow directions, then you won't be participating. You won't be involved. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, coming at this, I was thinking that, I just totally got out of the picture and everything was just you, and I'd forgotten that you said we would do things together.
Yes. And in the conversations that we do them together.
See, I didn't think that.
I know that, but
now I know
you
better.
were cooperating with me. I didn't take possession of your body.
Well, it was always very
You
loving.
have been involved.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You are welcome.
That clears that up. Thank you.
Yes. Hands? Yes.
I'm feeling like there might be a little bit of resistance to me asking a question.
From you?
Or you, I'm not sure which.
Oh, I never resist a question.
Okay. I have some specific questions. And then also just this feeling, I'm wondering which would be more appropriate for me to address right now. Are the specific questions appropriate or not?
Indeed.
Okay. The first question is about in our recent marriage, with the idea of name changing. Is my resistance to changing my last name to Spears fear-based? Around a loss of identity, or
Absolutely.
is there appropriateness in doing that?
It doesn't make any difference at all.
Okay.
And because it doesn't make any difference at all, go ahead and change it.
It's so hard for me to believe that things don't make a difference. Like, it seems to me that every single thing makes a lot of difference.
But your name doesn't give you identity.
Right.
You give meaning. You, the presence of you, gives meaning to whatever name you go by. And it will be a point of freedom for you to discover that. It would be a greater point of freedom for him to discover it. I only say that because men, because they've never had to change their names,
Right.
feel that they truly have a right to keep it because it means something. And it doesn't mean anything.
So you would advise me to change it for that reason, or you're not advising anything at all?
I am not going to tell you to do it or not to do it.
Okay.
I'm just telling you that it makes no difference, and in the willingness to change it, and if you change it, you will have learned something significant about your identity,
Okay.
that it wasn't in your name. And as long as you think it does lie in your name, you're in bondage to you're in bondage to ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
You're in bondage to a definition. You see?
My next question is about housing in Portland. We've just moved and we're looking for a place to live that feels affordable, being that he's going to be the only one to bring any income in for both of us. And we've looked at one home, and we're looking at the idea of community, although it's hard to find in a city. Can you say anything about that, or is it just...
And by the word community, you mean?
People living together with common...
In the same dwelling.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now that that will not work for the two of you, and especially for you with your studies.
Okay. Living with people at all? Meaning it's best for us to just live in our own home?
That is correct.
Wow. So the home that we looked at, Sierra's home, that kind of living is not appropriate for us?
That is correct.
Can you advise us in a direction to head then?
I will put it this way. Knowing what you're looking for gives you direction.
It's hard because I think he feels so left out in our move, and the idea of community gives hope and purpose for Kenneth. And so I feel like if we just live by ourselves, now I'm really taking all of the everything for this move.
The two of you need to approach this
Get
together.
clear.
Because you both want what will work and not what will defeat you.
It's hard for me to know what will work because it's so unknown what school will be like for me that I feel pretty open right now.
Good. Then it will be easier for the two of you to arrive at a direction to move in.
Okay.
But I will tell you, do not try to live in a communal situation. You need your space.
Does that include communities in which you have your own dwelling, but they're...
As long as you have your own space to go to that isn't being occupied by someone else, of course.
Okay.
You would have to go out in the middle of the desert not to be in a community.
So we'll just pray about that more.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it appropriate for me to ask one more question or not?
Okay.
The question is about finances within school itself.
About what?
Finances in paying for tuition for my schooling. Right now, it feels to me like there are not, to my knowledge, really any sources for money to pay for school other than just taking out loans. Is that the wise thing to do, just take out loans at this point? Or should I just like...
That is not the only avenue you should pursue, but you should pursue that avenue.
Sure.
And don't assume that there are no other avenues. Be curious.
Is family one of those avenues?
Yes.
Is there anything else I need to know about that?
Not a thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
I want to ask about money. So many of the questions have to do with money, have to do with finance. And the love of money is the root of all evil. And